Hey guys, it's Vanessa from Building a Hopeful Homestead. I'm really glad you joined me today. I am doing my last summer harvest out in my garden, and I wanted to bring you along. It'll be small, but it's quite a few things for how tiny my garden is, so I wanted to bring you guys along with me and show you what I get. We're going to start over here with these winged beans. Get you in. There we go. These are the last beans that are on the vine right now. I have a few more flowers here, but I don't think they're really going to do anything. I planted some peas in the bottom of these to start while the beans were finishing out, so that I could go ahead and get them in the ground and make sure that the soil that I have is being used at all times and productive at all times. So as these beans are phasing out, the peas are coming in. That's one thing about gardening on or even in a regular garden, but especially on a terrace like this, you have to make sure to maximize your space and make everything as useful as humanly possible. There are a few smaller beans on here, so I'm going to leave them. Having this here won't impede the growth of the peas at all, so I'm just going to leave that for right now. And we'll go over to the next wing bean. Right. These are really productive, even though I only have 3 plants. I got quite a few beans out of these. This one in the middle didn't mature fast enough to even make any, so it's just here, which is a bummer, but if I leave it, it might produce something because it has these little sprouts on it, but I'm not sure if it will or not. It looks like that's it for the winged beans. Like I said, it's not much that I'm getting today. It's just the last dregs of it. My kale was decimated by some cabbage worms, so I'm letting that come back. It's starting to come back now. I might get in there and clip down these really chewed up leaves to give the ones that are down below more sunlight and exposure. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so I made some good progress and I got a bunch of them off. I'm going to throw this over in my compost bucket, and those will become useful nutrients for the rest of the garden. Next, we're going to come over here. We're going to go ahead and get all the peppers off of these plants that are ready. Thank you. Yeah. Now these peppers are tiny, I admit. But that doesn't matter. You know why? Because it's still a pepper and you can still eat it. And it's just as ripe as a big one. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest my tiny peppers. If anybody knows why they turned out tiny, please do share. These did come in rather late. This is the last flush, but this plant also gave me a first flush of tiny peppers as well. So, not sure why they're tiny, but they haven't continued to grow in the last couple of weeks. I've left them for about 3 weeks after they got this size to see if they would get bigger or change, and they did not, and I think that's just because it got too cold. But that's okay, they taste fine. These plants have flowers on them, and if it was warmer, they would still be producing. That's what I love about peppers, is that you have one plant, and as soon as it matures, it just continuously shoots out these peppers for you on a consistent basis. These are my Shishito peppers. These are mature, or close to it anyway. Some of them might get bigger, but I'm going to go ahead and harvest all of them because these are my favorite, and it's too cold for them to get any bigger than this. So I did it all at once, just so you guys could see how many that one plant, it's one plant, one Shishito pepper plant produced. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 peppers in one harvest off of one plant. If it was warmer, some of those would have gotten a lot bigger. I've already gotten at least 15 peppers off of that one plant. I am most definitely going to be planting Shishito peppers again next year. I mean, just with that one, look, so many. They don't get giant like bell peppers can, but one plant produces so many that it's a great thing to keep on your terrace or your balcony garden because it's a consistent producer. As long as you get those seeds started soon enough, when it's warm outside, the plant will mature as quickly as as it will. And as soon as it's mature, it'll just be pumping out those peppers to you. Now I'm gonna leave that there. It has some more babies on it, but they were too tiny to harvest. So I might even get a third flush off of that plant. I've already cooked 2 dinners using that one plant. I think that's a great resource to have on your terrace. So if you were to have 4 of those, I mean, just imagine how many Shishito peppers you would have access to. That's produce, that's vegetables. They're a little bit, they can have some heat sometimes, but most of the time it's just this really low intensity, mellow heat in your mouth. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's so hot, it's so spicy. Especially if you grow them yourself, they're really mild. So you could make a hot sauce out of these. I've never heard of anybody doing that. They usually just like roast them like a poblano pepper and take the skin off of and eat them that way. I just cut them up and use them in my stir-fried rice, and it's a great addition. All right, let's look at what else we have out here. My tomato right here has given me about 20 baby tomatoes. It has a few that are ripening on it right now that aren't quite ready. So we're not going to touch those today. I do, however, have a melon that I think is ready. This plant, I can't remember what I planted. I have no idea what it is. But at first I thought it was cucamelons. But it makes these tiny little melons. And I'm pretty sure this one is ready. It's very heavy. It's not getting any bigger. It's been this size for about 2.5 to 3 weeks. It has changed color though. So I think it's ready. This particular vine has 3 more on it, so I'm going to leave those to see what happens with them. I'm really excited about it. Over here we have our sweet potatoes that aren't quite ready to harvest yet, so we'll do that at a later date. These squash vines are probably ready to come out. They're not really producing anything, but on a few of these I found some baby zucchini. So I want to at least give it a shot, give it a chance to produce, so that maybe I might get another one. Over here we also have this striped tomato that's ready. It's rather large, but it's still green, so I want to give it a chance to ripen on the vine. If it starts to look like it's doing something that it shouldn't, I will take it off and try to ripen it inside, but I just wanted to give it a chance to ripen out here, because these little ones right here are on the vine as well, and it's taking time for them to ripen, but they are doing it. These are the radishes I planted a few weeks ago with you guys. They are doing fantastic. I have a beet in here as well from when I planted it at the beginning of the summer, and it's just now taking off and looking like it's happy. So when I planted these things, I really helped the soil. I put blood meal, bone meal, and crab shells in there, crushed crab shells, all organic, mind you. And these, I have daikon in here, and I have another small, just regular radish in here as well. I have been plucking out the tiny seedlings to thin them and having them in my salad. It looks like I need to do that again here. So the seedlings are getting used, and the ones that are left are being left to mature into large vegetables. So it's a useful use of this bucket and space and soil. Over here, I started these peas in a pot that I had green beans in, and they're doing great. They're coming up. Sorry about that. I think my tablet died and I got cut off. So I'm back again. I am in my greenhouse, and I'm going to harvest the rest of some of the things that are out here so I can use these pots for other stuff. So let's start with these onions. I have never been able to grow onions from seed before, let alone spring onions. It's always been so hard for me to achieve, and I'm super happy that I was able to grow this entire pot of onions this year, and I feel really accomplished and proud of myself. So yeah, I'm just going to harvest these and you guys can watch. And I know some of them are pretty thin still, but they're good. I'll use them for soups and to put in breakfast omelets, to put into stir fries. These are some nice sized ones right here. I'm not sure if I left these to go longer, if they would get any bigger. I put these in here really thick, so that's probably why they grew in, and some of them are rather small. But I don't know if you can see, it's starting to kind of die off over here. So I wanted to go ahead and get these out before we go on vacation the next few days and get them in the refrigerator to chill and be preserved in there until we get back. I might take some of these with me. We're not going anywhere where people cook for me. When we go on vacation, Mama still cooks, so. We don't really go to the beach very often. We've gone once in the last 10 years that we've been married. What we do is we go to a place in West Virginia. It's our family farm. That's what we call it. My grandparents, they are from West Virginia. They're from where we're going to. The same county, just different houses. We do visit where they grew up, and we drive past the houses that they grew up in. Due to certain events, we don't have those houses anymore in our family, or in our immediate family. They've gone to cousins or been sold for various reasons. So my grandparents missed home, and they bought an old farmhouse on a large amount of acreage out there in West Virginia. The house has electricity, but for the longest time, well, in the beginning, when it was first built, it didn't even have a bathroom in it, and there was an outhouse, and that's what they used, but not when they bought it. There's a bathroom. There's 2 bathrooms now. One was recently added because our family has grown exponentially in the past few years. My brother and my cousins and I have all had children, so there's a lot of us now. So that was kind of necessary. 1 bathroom with 12 people, maybe 20 people. It's not very agreeable. But we go there. We used to just have the TV there that got the local channels. So when we went there, there was no phone, no internet. We had electricity, but it was like turning on the lights. There were no fans initially on the ceilings. And propane stove. So, I mean, there was electricity, so it was comfortable when we were younger. But now, my uncles and my brother and cousins and such have fixed up the house so that it has ceiling fans in every single room, and it's like a 5-star hotel now. And there are 2 bathrooms, and it has direct TV now, which honestly I could have done without that. I prefer not having the TV up there and just having the local channels to watch, because I'm that kind of person. But it was a nice addition. Like, my husband really enjoys watching the TV while we're up there, and my uncles and aunts do as well, so that was nice. And they redid the siding on the house and fixed up the windows. They opened and closed again. It was deteriorating, and they did a really good job of fixing it up, and I'm really proud to say that they did it themselves, and they did a beautiful job. So yeah, I'll show you guys the farmhouse soon. We're going there this weekend. Hopefully these videos might come out in order. But if they don't, I apologize, and it'll be out pretty much a week after we get back from our vacation, or less. The house has a bunch of acreage. Our family, like, there's cows on the property, but they're not our cows, they're our neighbors' cows. They rent the land from us to let their cows graze. Or not us, my aunt and uncle, my uncles and my mom. And my uncles and my mom own the farm now, after my grandparents died. So my grandparents bought it because they wanted their family to have a place to go, to really get away from it all and get unplugged. They wanted us to know what it was like for them growing up, and they wanted us to know what life is really about. And when you're up there, you really do get unplugged. Life is about family and friends, and really, life is beautiful, and when you're up there, you really see it. Like, you look around and you can breathe. And if you've had chronic headaches, your headaches go away. And it's in a national quiet zone because it's close to the Green Bank Observatory up in West Virginia. It's not in Green Bank, but it's close to it. So they have the quiet zone, and cell phones don't work up there. Internet does not work up there, no matter how hard you try. So it's a really great place just to get away from it all and to breathe. And I'm really excited to show that to you guys. These are all the onions that I got. They are beautiful, and I can't believe I grew these myself. I'm really excited to use these in everything that I cook. Let me add these to the bucket here. Now, I'm going to re-angle you guys. Down here I have my basil. Let's see. basil. I have my spinach over here. I might grab a few leaves off of this, but it's doing really well all of a sudden. So I kind of want to leave it and see how it does. I started that in the middle of summer. They're supposedly heat-loving spinach, but as soon as it got cold, they went crazy. So I'm kind of calling BS on that one. They did grow, like they did seed and come to life in the summer. So yeah, maybe. And they did survive. So that's probably why they said it was a heat-loving spinach, but it likes the cold. I'm going to harvest this basil, and you guys can just hang out with me while I do that as well. When we're up at the farm, there's just this sense of freedom that you get. And I can't really describe it, but it's definitely, like, it's very different from going to the beach. You still cook by yourself. There's a kitchen there. You bring all your own food. It's free. You don't have to pay a hotel fee. So that's really nice that, you know, my mom and my uncles are letting everybody use it. It's a family. That's what my grandparents intended. They intended it to be a family place that we all go to be together. And we all really look forward to it. It's like everybody in the family, it's our favorite place to be. Some people in the family like it more when it's just a few of us up there, not all of us, but I prefer it when everybody's up there because I miss my family and I want to see them. But I mean, that's understandable because there are so many people and there's so many kids now that it's really a crush when we're up there, but I enjoy it. I always have. I'm really gonna go ahead and just like lop these off, and I'll get the leaves off of them inside. If they want to grow back, cool. I will leave them alone. But if they start to die, I will pluck them out and I will seed something else in here for the winter, like a nice leafy vegetable or something. No space will go to waste in my garden. Some of these have started to flower. A lot of people say it tastes better. It may. I don't care. I still make basil and like pesto out of it, and I can't tell the difference. So I use them because why waste that part of the plant? Especially if the seeds have already come out of it. I don't see the point in wasting it. I am going to harvest some of the sage and go ahead and dry it and keep it inside. I'm going to go ahead and cut this back as well. I should have brought a bigger bowl out here. I didn't think I was going to get a lot, but this is a lot. I still have to do my lettuce leaf basil over here. So what I'm going to do is I might dry some of this basil and I might make some of it into pesto. And I'm going to use these onions fresh. I'm going to go ahead and eat that melon with my kids later. And just really utilize everything that it's in my garden before the frost kills it, because it's coming. It's been really, really cold. Really, really early. Like it may get warmer for a spell after this cold trough stops invading the south from Alaska, but it's been super cold and it's nipped quite a few of my things out here. So I just assume go ahead and get a lot of it out of the garden and use it rather than lose it. I'm going to leave the base of these sage plants here because there's leaves growing on them and such, and they'll grow back next year. The sage will, and that'll be a nice addition to already have in the garden that I don't have to worry about planting. Alright. Now these would already be nipped and probably very unhappy if I hadn't put them in here, all this basil and stuff, because that storm that came through here was just wicked. The hurricane. I have some lettuce in here too. Overall, I'm really proud of myself and what I've accomplished on my terrace garden this year. I've gotten quite a few vegetables out of this garden, and I couldn't be happier with the results. Next year, I will make a few modifications to make sure I get even more. I'll make sure my soil is very well fertilized and full of nutrients before I plant my summer crops. I'm going to start my peppers and tomatoes extremely early and really do my utmost, make a really great big effort to protect them from storms like that hailstorm that came and knocked most of my stuff out. That was pretty awful. But I think next year we'll definitely get a bigger crop because I know what thrives here now, and I know what thrives in this environment. I'm just going to plant the heck out of it, and we're going to get a ton of stuff, guys. So some of you are asking what I'm going to post about in the winter when my garden is, you know, hibernating and dead. I will still be harvesting out of my garden as long as it lets me. I planted some fall crops and some cabbages and radishes and things that survive over the winter months. But I'm going to be doing a lot of cooking and recipes. I'll be doing my Azure Standard orders and my Costco hauls and all kinds of things. I have some really neat recipes to share with you guys. So I hope you guys stick around and subscribe so that you guys can see those when they come out. They'll be really nice. Alright, I don't need those stems. I have some oregano over here too that I'm going to go ahead and grab and dry, or just use fresh inside soon. I don't know if you guys can see. This oregano originally died. That it came back with a vengeance, so I'm going to go ahead and really aggressively harvest it so that I can dry some to keep, or just use it in the next couple of weeks because it will stay nice in my fridge. Well, that's the end of my garden harvest for the summer. I still may have a few things to hang on from my summer planting, and I'll pluck those off in a few weeks, but until then I'll just be planting and ripping out some things in here that have gone and you know, spent their usefulness, and I'll bring you guys along when I plant those things. I look forward to hanging out with you again, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and stick around for the video on our vacation spot. Bye, friends.